All right, welcome to the Retro Game Club Podcast, Season 3, Episode 25, which is also Episode 97. I am Rob, and with me is someone else who has no fans watching him, Hugh.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Absolutely zero. I have no fans, let alone fans watching me. You first have to get fans. Then you get some watching us. Yeah. It was, yeah, I've been watching a lot of the Olympics. It's only been going on for like 2 days, but I really enjoy it because you get to see, sports that you normally would not be interested in, right? I will say last night I saw the most disappointing Olympic event, which was Olympic skateboarding. Did you watch any of this?
I loved it. Why was it disappointing?
So what I saw was the event where I guess all you have to do is land one trick. That's the event. Do one trick. And every single guy I saw, I watched 10 guys in a row, they all fell.
Well, I mean, it's not easy. And you can't just land. You can't just
do in the world.
I know, but you can't just do an ollie. Like, they were doing crazy stuff. And like, for example,
I just learned how to.
There was one guy trying to do just a 180 over a rail. But like, what you can't see from afar is like that rail is actually like chin high. It's not like a normal handrail. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm sure it's really difficult. Except, I think if I just every day after work practice doing an ollie for 2 hours a day, right, and then I could go to the Olympics and not fall doing that, I would take home the gold medal. That's what I saw last night.
I don't think so. They were doing crazy tricks.
I get that skateboarding is hard. But like, again, these are supposedly the best in the world, and not one of them landed a single trick.
They all landed some tricks. There were some great tricks they landed.
Okay, I didn't see the one I saw. I did not see one guy land a single trick.
Maybe there was.
I agree. It's theoretically possible one of them landed a trick at some other time that I wasn't watching, but
there was like a 15-minute lull in there where I was just kind of like, "What? It's not great right now." But there was also two different brackets. So that was to get into the finals. So to be fair, they were weeding out some of the not great ones. But there was like a 15-minute lull there for sure. And freaking South Africa was skating with a broken wrist, with two bones broken. And which again, you're not...
I saw him fall, yeah.
Yeah, you're not skating on your wrist, but still, if you've ever had a broken bone, anytime you move, pain happens.
Yeah. Right, but I mean, what I saw compared to like a guy on like pommel horse, right? Not even same league of athlete, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
I think pommel horse is the hardest Olympic event. That is the one I'm least likely that I could do.
Yeah. And also and that one does not look impressive either. Like skating, if you land anything, it looks amazing, but pommel horse to me is just like, it's just kind of looks funny.
Yeah, but if you watch it, I think it's physically the hardest event.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's kind of fun. So what's been going on other than the Olympics?
Yeah, so we're starting to get garage sales in my neighborhood again, which is kind of cool. I did have a funny incident that I did go to the house where the entire garage was toilet paper. And seems like the guy was planning to move. And the cost of filling a moving truck with toilet paper, of course, is really, really high.
Mm-hmm.
So he was selling it for like $1 a 12-pack, which I guess was a bargain. But I didn't feel like buying any because, one, it just sort of feels weird to buy toilet paper from someone's garage.
Yes.
And two, I kind of wanted to see him suffer.
Yes, he kind of deserved that one.
Yeah. So I was happy for that. I mentioned that I'm kind of trying to work through my video game backlog. I played... South Park: The Stick of Truth over the past week, and I finished it in like a week. It's not a very long game. Mm-hmm. It's maybe, I think the whole game, the main story is like 10 hours.
What system is that on?
It's on everything, but I played it on PlayStation 4.
Okay, I mean, what was it originally on? That was PS3, right? Or was that PS4?
Probably PS3 originally. Okay. Now, the funny thing is, I've actually sort of bought that game twice. So I bought the sequel, right? And the sequel, when I bought it, had a download code to get the Stick of Truth for free. But because I'm so backlogged on games, by the time I started the sequel, that code had expired.
Wow.
So,
nice.
So I had to go buy it again. which is fine. I paid like $30 for the sequel and $14.99 or something for the first game. And I guess it was a bad idea to play them out of order because the second game, like the first game is good, but there's a few annoying things, like the battle system's a little bit clunky. The second game like fixes every single thing that's bad in the first game.
Oh, nice.
So I like definitely recommend the second game, which is also on everything. So I'm probably gonna start with my backlog. Number one on my backlog, by the arbitrary order I sorted it in, is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which I have literally never played. I think I think it has the same map as GTA 5, so I'll probably figure it out pretty quickly, I assume.
Yeah, it definitely has some interesting elements that are only in that game. So I'm excited to hear what you think about it. Not even after it, even during it, because I didn't even finish that one, and I feel like I saw a lot of it.
Okay, yeah, I've heard it's a really big game. And then I just breaking news, I bought a bunch of Nintendo school supplies for myself, not for my kids. Whatever.
Are school supplies now just a Chromebook? Is that it?
Yeah, that's basically all they need. My kids go to this kind of like, well, my youngest kid at this point still goes there. My oldest doesn't, but they go to like this school for hippies out here in Illinois. And at one point they were doing community school supplies where they gave you a school supply list. And then at the beginning of the year, they were just going to like dump all the supplies in a bin and just, take what you need kind of attitude, which of course means you buy the cheapest school supplies you could find, right? Like why buy anything nice if you're doing, this is why communism doesn't really work, right? Like we just bought the cheapest, worst school supplies we could find. They don't do that system anymore, probably because of people like me. But anyhow, I saw in the news like a couple days ago that Trapper Keeper is back with 80s styled Trapper Keepers. Did you see this?
No.
They're exclusively sold at Walmart. And when I heard it, I happened to be sitting next to my wife on the couch, and she fired up Walmart.com because she orders like online from there. And they were not available online, sold out online. And I looked, and of course, they were on eBay for 3 times the price.
Of course, yeah.
And I said, oh, I hate everyone when I saw that. But I decided to go to Walmart, and it turns out you don't need to buy a Trapper Keeper from a scalper because you go into the Walmart store, and they have hundreds of them. Like, the scalpers could not buy all of them. There were just so many.
Not to cut you off, but I got those Zelda-themed Joy-Cons. And
oh, okay.
Same thing with those. They were on every site for double or triple the price, but you could walk in any Walmart or Target and they would just have 8 or 10 in stock that no one cared about.
Okay. So the Walmart I went to had an empty spot for those.
Oh man.
I did look for those while I was there because my daughter's Switch has bad Joy-Con drift. So I bought, let's see here. Hold on. This is breaking. I bought an 80s themed Trapper Keeper.
Nice.
It actually looks
so
like
everyone knows it's like pink and neon and purple.
And I think I actually owned one of these in 8th grade.
So that's like a, how do you describe that one? Is that a space theme or is it just shapes?
It's shapes. It's like 3D shapes over a grid.
Wow.
So those are the 2 I bought. I'm going to use them at the office.
Nice.
That's not a joke. I got some Super Mario folders. These are very nice. This just has Mario artwork on the front. And I know this is a very exciting show. Some Mario notebooks, because I go through a ton of notebooks.
Nice.
And what else? Oh, Super Mario pencil case that is, it's like the size of a Wii remote. So I'll probably use it to store, like, you can probably put 2 Wii remotes in here.
Nice. Cool.
So that was my, kind of like a bandit, I thought, in terms of Nintendo school supplies. It's a good time for Nintendo school supplies. They have a ton, and they have a bunch of Minecraft school supplies, if you're a Minecraft fan.
Oh, my kid is. Oh, man. You just ruined me. Now I'm going to have to go there tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah. So that's it for me. What have you been up to?
Oh, man, it's been crazy here. Well, first of all, we had like 2 tornadoes here since we last talked. It's been nuts. And I don't think I've had to deal with even a tornado warning in years. I think it just kind of affected the other parts of the country the past few years. But man, this this week we took the kids to swim class, and all of a sudden the skies turned weird colors and the wind shifted, and it was insane. And it was really terrifying. Like, all the kids had to get out of the pool, but they wouldn't let them out of the pool area. They had to stand against this wall. So all the parents had to like be not with their kids, and we're supposed to take cover in like the changing area. But I was like, I'm not going to like leave the view of my kids. So that was pretty scary. And then last night, we actually had a tornado touchdown not from far from our house, and actually a block away from my buddy who actually listens to this podcast from his house. And it tore some places apart. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. I feel like tornadoes are a very Midwest type thing. I feel like the rest of the world doesn't deal with that as much as we do.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I don't know the prevalence of tornadoes outside of Midwestern and Plains states. I have to believe anywhere where it's flat. I suppose they're common, but maybe this is the flattest part on Earth. I don't know.
I mean, I never hear about like tornadoes in Russia or really Europe. I think Europe gets them sometimes, but just really strange. But anyway, on from that stuff. I've been working on some projects that will probably be topics of the podcast very soon, and this weekend, actually right now, so the day before you all listen to this podcast, on a Twitch channel, I think just called Mega Man Speed Running, something like that. This whole weekend has been the Classic Mega Man Fest 2021, and so they did a lot of runs, like all 1 through 6 Mega Man, like a speed run, of people racing. Just one that's 1 through 3, and then a lot of just the people who ran a lot of the world records, just kind of talking about how they did certain things and a lot of tips for people. So it's been really interesting, really fun to watch. But that's been about it. Guess we should probably start the podcast, I guess.
Yeah, let's do that.
Was this first one yours or mine? I can't remember.
I think I put this in. So this is the hardware section. We're going to do a couple hardware stories here. RGB to HDMI. So this is from this site. Is probably I put it on the notes. Nerdlypleasures.blogspot.com. So this is the name of the article is Keeping the Upscale and Capture Pure, the RGB to HDMI and digital PC video standards. So the site's known for doing a lot of really in-depth technical articles, and this is about scaling PC signals or PC screens, and they use examples from King's Quest and Ultima and the Maniac Mansion, right, to just show some scaling examples in the results you get from the RGB to HDMI, which is a actually, I'm not real familiar with this. It looks like it's a Raspberry Pi project.
Yeah, it was originally built for the BBC Micro, but now I think it works for a lot of things.
Yeah, and there's a separate adapter. There's like an Amiga specific adapter as well. It looks like.
Yeah, these are really impressive, and it kind of shows you what you get out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. I always like those Raspberry Pi projects. And this one does have some soldering. I looked at the video. All right, what's our next one here? DIY Game Boy camera adapter wirelessly transfers its crappy photos to a smartphone. And this is a strange project. It's a guy just showing you how to make it. You can't buy this, but it's pretty much a device that you connect to your Game Boy camera, and it gets it on to Wi-Fi. It's like a Wi-Fi adapter, and then you just go to the little website and download your Game Boy photos.
Yes, it's made using a Raspberry Pi Zero.
Oh yeah, just like the previous item.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know who this project is for, but it's probably why this guy's not mass marketing it.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a market for this.
Yeah. This next one, I think I put on here, and I thought it was more impressive than it was until I actually watched the video. So this is on a tech spot. This is a modded Sega Dreamcast. Is actually an AMD powered gaming PC. So that's exactly what this is. So it's like a pretty much an ITX motherboard with really fast AMD processor. And, those processors are APUs, so they have, the graphics card built in. And it's crazy now that all motherboards have like one or more M.2 drive slots. Like, you don't really need an external drive anymore. 16 gig of RAM. The reason why I thought this was going to be more impressive than it was is that I thought he was soldering on the GD-ROM to this.
No, yeah, no.
No, but it's like a DVD drive.
Right, he swaps out the drive so you can actually put like CD games in it and use it like a Windows PC with a CD-ROM drive.
Now, if he actually spliced in the GD-ROM drive and then he was using the Dreamcast emulator to read those, I mean, that would be really impressive, but not quite there. But yeah, it's a very good looking PC,
It's a very good waste of a Dreamcast, yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. What else? I got some Hackaday stuff here. Let me scroll up.
I think you added this one. I fixed the title from what Hackaday had. So it's called Understanding Custom Signal Protocols with Old Nintendos, but it's actually about the Super Nintendo. And it's about building a Super Nintendo to USB interface.
I love this project. Yeah. 4 Super Nintendo controllers connected to your computer all at the same time.
Yes. Or you can buy that same adapter for like $10 on Amazon.
Yes.
Because I own a Super Nintendo to USB adapter.
That's funny. But still a cool project. A very good looking project. It sucks that his cool paint job kind of got ruined, but I like the spirit of it. It kind of crackled. The spray paint crackled, which has happened to me before. So I sympathize with him. I think this next one you put on as well. Unless
I did, yeah. This is from OzRetroGamer.com, and it is Wii U playing games from zip disk. So if you can get a Wii game that is under 100 meg, and I believe they use Shakedown Hawaii, which, yeah, I played it. It's got to be under 100 meg, right? Unless it has like gigs and gigs of like runtime. You know what I mean? Like you can have a relatively small game, but then Unity or whatever. But this wasn't built in Unity. And I say it's a relatively small game because the graphical style is like a 16-bit game. Like it's not, I just know it's not real resource intensive. And that's exactly what this is about. A mod to basically treat the zip drive like an external hard drive. Because you can install your Wii U games to an external hard drive. And that's what they did, but instead it's a zip disk.
Very strange.
Yeah, this isn't like the larger zip disk. This is the original 100 meg zip disk.
Yeah, which I had so many of. I thought zip disks were the best.
Yeah, I only recently finally got rid of all of mine.
Yeah, I had the Parallel, I had the SCSI, I had the IDE. Let's see. Oh, meet the developer who's still making physical Game Boy games. Yeah, so this is a developer named Donna Pooch. I think I got that right. Puch? That sound right?
Sounds good.
Good, yeah. And they are, just like it says, still making Game Boy games. And the reason really makes sense to me is that when you have something like Unity or, the fastest, GPUs or processors in the world, that you have too many options in games. And so this limits you into really what you can do. And so it really makes you just stick to something creative and just kind of execute instead of always trying to make something look a bit prettier or getting more frames or something out of it. So it's a really good article. It's on Digital Trends. And what else? We got some more. Yeah.
So sticking with homebrew games here, or homebrew and ROM hacks, an article called Cracking GBA Games with NSA Tools, and this is about something we talked about a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is about using the NSA Ghidra. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Ghidra, I think. I'm
Ghidra.
sure will be corrected.
Yeah, I'm not going to read that. But if the NSA is listening, please send us a correction. But this is about using Ghidra to disassemble and crack Game Boy Advance games. So this one, they were trying to crack the password system for the game Kong, King of Atlantis.
Yeah, that's great. And he goes in it, like, I guess Ghidra has some kind of templates you could start out with, and
Mm-hmm.
which one you should start out with this kind of stuff. And yeah, so cracking passwords with a NSA tool for Game Boy Advanced. And it must
really,
have been like episode 10 or 15 or something we talked about Ghidra.
It was pretty early, yeah. But yeah, I think he used it to figure out the code to he didn't so much. It's not so much about cracking passwords, but figuring out the code that validates and generates passwords. So then you can write your own. Once you know the algorithm for passwords, because some passwords have like checksums. I think probably most of them do. Be able to crack that algorithm and just generate it any password you feel like for the game.
Oh, nice. Yeah, really interesting. Really cool tool. I think this next article is mine. Secret Nintendo Cafe in Tokyo is home to relics saved from the company's incinerator. And so this guy, well, he has a cafe in Tokyo, and he or his partner were also consultants in video gaming back in the 80s. And so they're also just really into the hobby and knew, it wasn't going anywhere. And all these people were just throwing away certain things like, sketches and stuff like that. So he has all this stuff kind of on display at his cafe that you could go see. Very, very interesting and cool.
What else here? Tetris playing Game Boy knockoff runs a tiny nuclear generator.
Yes. So how this works, it's kind of like a Game Boy-like device that's hooked up to, well, a nuclear generator. And it's not plutonium or whatever most power plants use. It uses some, I think, hydrogen isotope, and which is, again, nuclear. But the way it works is that isotope, as it decays, it glows, like Homer Simpson or whatever in the power plant. And inside of it, he then just has a solar panel that just points at the glowing light, and it powers this thing. So I actually think that's pretty creative.
Yeah. It says here, 55 minutes of playtime requires 2 months of charging.
That's it. That's funny. But it'll last like 25 years. The glowing.
I suppose. How long would it take you to play like an 80-hour game then? So you play 1 hour every 2 months. Someone at home can do the math on that.
Yeah, a long time. A very long time. But an interesting project. I don't recommend our home listeners doing anything with radioactive isotopes. We are not sponsored by any... I don't even know who you'd be sponsored by. Doc Brown, I guess.
Yeah.
This next article actually taught me something. So 16 millimeter film from Nintendo's 1974 Wild Gunman arcade cabinet have been found. So did you know about this cabinet before this?
No, this was new to me.
Yeah, so everyone, I mean, I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, knows about the NES port of Wild Gunman, and also there was a different kind of arcade version that was in Back to the Future Part 2. Well, before that, there was supposed to be, I guess it actually existed, a Wild Gunman arcade cabinet from 1974 that ran on film. And the way it worked is there were 2 projectors pointing at the screen that you're standing behind the projector. They're pointing away from you at the screen you're looking at. And, a gunman would draw and try to shoot you. And right before that, a little flash of light would happen behind the screen. And when that happens, that's when you're supposed to draw and shoot. And if you're fast enough, the film kept rolling, if you're slow, the film would keep rolling, and, you would be dead, in the game, and the game would be over. But if you were if you were fast enough, it would immediately cut over to the next projector. They were synced up, so they were playing almost the same film. Other than in the second one, he would fall over and you would win and go to. I don't know if there was multiple films or he just did the same one over and over again or something. I hope one of our listeners knows about this and could tell us more. But what an interesting idea! And one thing they talk about in this is like, there's nothing here to emulate. There's no ROM. It was just mechanical stuff. So if anyone ever emulated this with the film, it would literally just be a recreate. I guess you would call that a recreation, right?
Recreation, yeah. It's like trying to do a Microvision emulator, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because there the program is actually on the cartridge. If that makes sense. Like, you can't emulate the system because the cartridge is like the system.
yeah. And this is just like, it's purely mechanical.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this game. This is like a precursor to Mad Dog McCree in many ways, but it's not. But again, it's not like an arcade game. Like, you couldn't write an emulator for this. You'd write a simulator, I guess.
Exactly. That's the right word for it. It'd be simulated. So it actually looks like that there might be 4 levels in here. Film A, B, C, and D. So copyright Nintendo Company Ltd.
Yeah, this is a pretty amazing game. I really had no idea this even existed.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of how Night Trap was a videotape game before it was a CD game. Let's see, what else?
The Giant Museum of Pinball is closing. So I feel like this just opened like a week ago, but I guess it's been open for a few years, and it opened in 2015-ish, maybe. But yeah, already closing. They were looking for a new home, possibly in California, but couldn't find one, and just, I mean, I'm sure the pandemic didn't help, but from the article, it sounds like it was maybe not doing that great before then.
Yeah, that's too bad.
So they are going to auction off all the games, though. So this is I guess, good news if you're a pinball collector.
Yeah. And I mean, really strange. Like, I guess if you're going to open up something like this, don't expect it to make money. Maybe make it a nonprofit or something. I don't know. Don't take business advice from a guy in the internet.
Yeah. That's good advice for everything. It's a shame, but we still play. Like, again, I haven't actually seen if Galloping Ghost survived the pandemic, but I assume it did.
Yeah, it did. I see him on Twitch, so I think they did.
Oh, there you go. But this one, I guess big facility, maybe high real estate costs. I don't know all the factors that went into it, but it sounds like it just had not been doing well.
Looks like they have a disc of Tron as well and a lot of arcade cabinets.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is, like, I know, like, there are people who love pinball and have pinball games at home. I don't know if like a big pinball arcade has the same appeal to someone as like just a big video game arcade.
See, I think people love pinball, but I mean, how big does a city have to be to support something like this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this was in Vegas, right? I mean, this is like, where is this? No,
California.
I'm sorry. This was in California. Okay. It's still pretty big, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like people who really, really love pinball have pinball machines at home.
True, probably, yeah. But yeah, pretty sad. Wish I would have gotten there before they closed. What else do we have? Oh, on Kotaku, rare Mario PC game donated to museum. So, id Software wanted to do a Mario port. And the way they tried to accomplish that was when Carmack figured out how to get smooth scrolling on a PC, because there's no chips that do that like in a console. They just created a Mario ripoff, and they sent it to Nintendo, and Nintendo, I guess, said, "This is really impressive, but no thank you." And looking at it, it is really impressive.
Yeah, and this links to a Ars Technica article, which actually has more screenshots.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. if you look, I think there's a gameplay video here too.
Mhm.
Like, I could see why Nintendo passed on this. It just kind of like, I don't know. I think it looks pretty good, but it doesn't have quite the smoothness of Mario 3, if that makes sense.
But
And the colors are
still,
all crazy.
It's a demo.
Yeah.
Like, they could have
Yeah.
gotten the funds and then finished it, but still.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
though.
I think Nintendo just thought it wasn't gonna, live up to their standards for Mario 3. But yeah, it's certainly impressive. I mean, I couldn't program this.
Yeah, I think I read how he did this, and I didn't understand it. But that is news. We got some game club going on.
Yeah, we sure do.
Wanna dive in yours first?
Yeah, I went with Commando, and I played the NES version. I tried the arcade version a little bit, but really stuck with the NES version because it's kind of the most accessible one. Although the 7800 version is kind of fun too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just your kind of basic overhead, army shooter like Akari Warriors or Heavy Barrel, something like that. It's sort of based on the premise that you're going back to the jungles to rescue POWs, which I guess is that the premise of the Commando movie?
No, it's
Okay.
he's rescuing his daughter.
Oh, okay.
From a guy named
Am I
Benny.
thinking of Rambo? Is that it?
I can't remember the last time I've seen Rambo.
Okay.
Isn't
that
Rambo?
might be
Doesn't he get harassed by a cop or something? And he goes crazy.
That's First Blood.
Mm-hmm.
But Rambo is First Blood Part 2. And I thought the premise there was he was getting sent back to Vietnam to save
extract some. Yeah,
POWs.
okay.
That's what I thought the premise of Rambo was. But all right. I don't really enjoy the Rambo movies.
Neither do I.
I did not see whatever the latest reboot was.
Rambo at the retirement home or whatever. Whatever
it was. Yeah. I don't know. I just think of like Exploder from Grand Theft Auto, that fake in the movie that takes place in the games,
I can't remember. I don't remember that. I played all the Grand Theft Autos and I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's commercials for it throughout. Like Vice City, there's commercials for a movie called Exploder constantly.
Nice.
And it's a very Rambo type of movie. Anyhow, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have a ton to say about it. It's one of the things I realized playing the NES version is that if you wanted to do like an infinite score run on this game, it's probably pretty easy because there are a few spots even really early on where you can just stand in place and fire, and just an endless stream of enemies run into your gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's definitely no like you clear the screen and move on. Like the enemies will keep coming and you just have to keep pressing forward. And I also thought it was kind of neat that there were little like hidden rooms, like you throw a grenade at the right spot and then a ladder appears and then you rescue like a underground POW. Thought that was kind of neat. Like overall the graphics are nice. It's a fun game. Maybe I say it's better than Akari Warriors, maybe not quite as good as Heavy Barrel.
How long do you think this one takes to beat? I didn't look at any YouTube runs of it.
Oh, geez, I don't know. I didn't look that up.
Yeah, careful what you find when you Google Commando.
Yeah, I know. So on speedrun.com, the current world record is 28 minutes, 36 seconds.
Not bad.
I don't know if that uses some kind of glitch that like skips a big portion of the game or not.
Yeah. This game does suffer from you even touch water and you're dead. You touch a person and you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have a cheat code for like endless lives, this is a very, very frustrating game after a while.
I had fun with it though. I didn't get very far, but I had fun with it.
Yeah, I don't think even back in the day I got to the ending. Although I watched the speed run, some of the very late, I didn't get very far this time either, but some of these late stages look really familiar. So I'm wondering if maybe I played this with like a Game Genie or something. Something where you either like never take damage or you just have endless lives. Because the last scene where you're like fighting, you're fighting a base at the end. It really looks familiar to me. I don't think I've watched a speed run of it before.
Huh. Maybe you used to be a lot better at it.
Maybe, yeah.
Now, do you own this one or did you emulate it?
I emulated it, but I do own a copy.
Nice. I do that all the time.
Yeah, it's just easier. But yeah, this is a pretty common game.
Any closing thoughts on that one?
No, not really. I mean, it's pretty simple game. Um, not a whole lot to it.
Yeah,
The ending says, "Congratulations, your all mission is all over.
obviously.
Thank you for playing your great player. This game was ended." Now I don't think I've finished the game because I don't remember that.
That's funny. Oh, I did Tiger Heli, so I guess we have kind of a military theme this time. But I adore this game. So, it's an arcade game. It's a NES port. I only played the NES port from 1986. This was one of Nintendo's top sellers. It's sold well over 1 million units. So it's definitely up there. It had 2 sequels, which I haven't played, I don't think, Twin Cobra and Twin Cobra 2. And it has a C64 ripoff called Tiger Mission. And this is one of the few games that I am just great at. There's only like 5 games in the world that I'm naturally great at, and this is one of them. And I specifically have a memory of, one summer, some kid that lived down the road came over, and he was just watching me play this, and like, he just couldn't believe how good I was, and I just wouldn't die. Like, just one guy, just over and over again. So, yeah, this is a helicopter top-down shooter. I think in the arcade it was a vertical cab, I'd like to say, but anyway, it's pretty unique. You're shooting stuff that's on the ground. You also have 2 bombs. Your bullets will shoot things that are in the air or on the ground, but almost everything is on the ground. I think like a few times, like a jet will fly by, and you don't even have to shoot it if you don't want. But it repeats itself. It just keeps getting harder, and the way it does that is, at first, the enemies can only have 1 bullet on the screen at a time, and then it's 2, and then it's more than that, and then it's faster. So what makes this unique are a few things. The first is that you have 2 bombs, and if you get hit on the side that you have a bomb on, it'll just drop the bomb. So it's almost like a little shield, but you also lose that bomb. But that bomb does explode and kills everything around you. And also, you could get more bombs by shooting up, a power-up thing, and it's a little white box that will go from green to gray to red, I think. And if you get red, you'll get a little mini helicopter that goes on the side of you and shoots sideways. If you get gray, you get another mini helicopter that goes on the side of you that shoots forward. And so you could get a combination of, 1 red, 1 gray. You could get both red or both gray. You could have up to 2, 1 on each side of you. Kind of like a Galaga type thing. And if you get 2 grays, it's pretty fun because it's almost like a reverse bullet hell where you're just like annihilating everything. But you could still get hit pretty easy because you can't shoot bullets. They're still coming at you, and sometimes they come from behind. The way I'm the best is I usually get 1 red and 1 gray, and I just kind of hang off to one side and kind of spam everything in front of me and just kind of, with the red one pointing to the side, killing everything on the other side of the screen too. The gameplay is great. The only thing that's kind of frustrating is the side of your helicopter is where, the propeller ends. And that seems like it makes, the statement I just said seems like it makes sense. But when you're trying to dodge a bullet and get to the side of the screen, you can't get quite as far over to the side of the screen as you would like to. And so sometimes it's a bit frustrating because you just get hit. But
yeah, I feel like they leave a buffer on the sides for when you have the little side copters. So like you can't get them off the screen. I think you can only go as far over as you can go if you had a side copter, even if you don't have a side copter.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. But when you don't have it there, it's kind of frustrating because it's like, I tried to dodge it, but I couldn't. But I love this game. It's fun. It doesn't get old for me. It has fantastic sound. It does have pretty decent music, but it does repeat. Great sound effects and decent graphics for the time. So, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, same thing. I played this game a lot back in the day. This
Mhm.
was a pretty go-to game for me for a while because it's very simple. You can just fire it up, play it for a little bit. I generally try to get like all three copters shooting forward because usually side enemies tend to pop up like kind of late, and you can usually just fly past them.
Mhm.
But I always mess up and end up with some sort of mismatch of like one shooting forward and one shooting to the right.
Because you're trying to get both gray power ups, but if you miss, yeah.
You miss, yeah, by just a little bit. But yeah, overall, I like this game a lot. It reminds me a little bit of like Mission X, which was a television game I played a lot. I suppose I'm trying to think of is it like it's not really like Xevious, but it is a little bit, I guess.
A little
It's
bit.
an overhead shooter.
I think it's better than Xevious.
Yeah, I think I like the artwork in Xevious better, but Tiger Heli's definitely a more fun game.
I'll go with that. Yeah. I mean, they both have good graphics.
Yeah.
This one feels like it should be a little bit faster, but once you get used to it, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good difficulty level. Like it's not. I mean, it gets obviously gets very difficult the longer you play, but you can play for quite a while before you're really like in over your head.
Yeah, and I do think it levels out after a while. Like it just doesn't go bonkers. But yeah. Pretty. And this is one of those games, and I think Commando as well, is where like you don't need a story. You're just blowing stuff up. Who cares?
Yeah. What is the speed run time? I usually watch speed runs of these games, and I did not.
So the speed run for this one is how fast you can loop it, I think.
Okay, so same like the Spy Hunter run.
Yeah.
And that's 13 minutes 10 seconds. Two people are tied at that.
Well, how would it be a speed run? Because you can only go so fast. It's auto scrolling.
Yeah, that's why there's probably a theoretical max time, and multiple people have just hit it.
Yeah, like Dragster or something. Yeah. Well, cool.
Well, let's not get roped into the Dragster controversy.
No. I did not speed up any code in this to try to get faster. What are you going to play for next episode?
Here's one that's been on my backlog for a long time. Backlog for this podcast. Junior Pac-Man.
Nice.
I want to play Junior Pac-Man again for a long time.
Bold choice.
Yeah.
In going with, so none of us picked an Olympic game this time because those games are a bit boring. Yeah, well, for the Winter Olympics, I picked winter games, so I'm not going to do it this time. We know they're kind of boring. So, Cotton Fantastic Night Dreams just got released and remastered for the Switch, so I picked that up, and I had it for the TurboGrafx Duo back in the day, but I don't anymore, so I'm going to play it on the Switch this time.
And this is strangely, this is not on the new TurboGrafx Mini, right?
No. Yeah, this is a very expensive game if you don't get it on the Switch.
Yeah. To buy a physical copy, this is pretty hard for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, if any of our listeners play Cotton or Junior Pac-Man, Tiger Heli, Commando, or any other retro game, if you're going through all of our other episodes and playing any of those, have any recommendations, stories, hobby, projects, anything like that, please, we want to hear from you. We do this podcast because we don't have that many people to talk about this niche topic with. Please email us, email@retrogameclub.net. That is email@retrogameclub.net. Hit us up on Facebook, facebook.retrogameclub.net, or on Twitter @RGC Podcast. And Zach maintains all of that stuff. So thank you, Zach. And I think we got some feedback here.
I have too many tabs open. Let's see. Major Sentinel feedback suggesting that Nintendo Takedown Notice be a new drinking game rule. So if you drink along to the show, we did not have any Nintendo Takedown Notices this week, although I did not include an article that was a Nintendo Takedown Notice article. Nice. Well, a potential one. I think it was someone hacks Sonic into Mario 64. I'm like, I don't know who's sending the Takedown Notice, but it's getting one.
Yeah.
Bomberman 94. So we were talking about Bomberman 94, and he asked if we've ever played Saturn Bomberman, because it's the one that lets you have 10 players at once and even has a special Bomberman branded controller. Have you played 10-player Bomberman?
I have played Saturn Bomberman. In fact, I think it's very similar to Bomberman 94. But I have not played Bomberman with more than 2 people. I need more friends, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, only at like a game show have I seen a 10-person Bomberman set up.
Sounds crazy, though.
Yeah, I might have 10 Saturn controllers, as insane as that sounds.
See, they should release that for Switch and make it online, and then you could actually do 10-player Bomberman.
Yeah. Wait, do I have 10 Saturn controllers? I might. I have a whole stack of them. So when eBay was fairly new, I bought there was a guy selling boxed new Sega Saturn analog controllers, the really huge ones.
Yes. Yes.
And like his feedback score on eBay was terrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at his feedback score and it was a lot of like, yeah, it took him like 3 months to ship the item, and then gave me some, story about his dad had just died. And this was like feedback going back for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I mean, he's selling box Saturn controllers. Like he was selling like a lot of them. I mean, he was selling like 4 or 5 at least in just that lot. So I'm like, whatever. If I gotta wait, I gotta wait. And sure enough, like he didn't send him for 3 months, and then sent me an email saying that he was delayed because his father just died.
Nice.
Like whatever. They all came brand new. So I have a tower of those, and then I've had like some weird Goodwill finds where I would just find like box Saturn and Dreamcast controllers all the time. So I actually might own 10 Saturn controllers. Oh, anyways, I guess we talked about another listener wrote in to talk about brick and mortar stores jacking up their prices to be closer to eBay and Craigslist, right? And he mentioned that like his local thrift stores pretty much have to do that, otherwise they get completely picked over right away and then have nothing on the shelf. And that the only thing he sees on the shelf is Odyssey 2 and Intellivision games, which I can vouch for. Like if you go to Half Price Books, there's a ton of Odyssey 2 and Intellivision games. I guess nobody wants those. On social media, we asked about favorite Game Boy Advance games and why. He mentions that he has a fuchsia Game Boy Advance that someone bought him as a gift. His friend got it for him because it was pink and thought it would be funny.
It sounds pretty cool.
He thought that was his rig. Yeah, good. Thank you for the free GBA. He said he played a lot of Advance Wars, House of the Dead Pinball, and Super Gunstar Heroes. And of course, you could play older Game Boy games on it as well, like Solomon's Club and Tetris and so on. And then he mentioned getting into the Castlevania games for Game Boy Advance later. And then we must have asked somewhere about finding unlabeled games.
I think it was that Nintendo 64 game found in a park in Tokyo.
Oh, okay. I don't know if maybe we asked about people have found it, but he mentions that he found he bought an unlabeled Sega Master System game that turned out to be Shinobi, which is a game he was actually looking for.
Sweet.
That's good. And then he said by coincidence he was on the Atari parts site that we talked about.
And to remind everyone, it was a guy who gets very grumpy if you do anything the wrong way. He's like the soup Nazi of Atari parts.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said on the show, that it would go exactly the same way if I was in his situation. But he happened to be looking for an Atari Lynx replacement screen and just wanted to compliment the site on how it still looks like a GeoCities page.
Nice.
Yeah. And then on social media, we also asked people about Game Boy Advance games. I guess the Game Boy Advance must have turned 20 recently. And see, someone writes in to say they really liked Spy Hunter. And there's a Spy Hunter 2 that they recommend.
But, he says it looks much less fun.
Okay. He said it looks less fun. Oh, I see. That's sometimes I don't read thoroughly. Double Dragon in Gradius Galaxies.
On the GBA?
On the GBA, yeah. He said when he was working at a call center back in college, it was really boring, so he kept a GBA on his desk. Also F-Zero is recommended. And we also get a recommendation for Metroid Zero Mission, Fusion, Minish Cap, and the entire Mario Advance series.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, cool. Again, thank you for all the social media feedback and the emails. Email at retrogameclub.net. We're almost at episode 100. So please, if you have any last minute, ask us anything. questions, please email us those. And I also, Hugh, you probably didn't even see this yet. I put a little section for Rob's predictions. And,
okay. Things you predicted throughout the course of the show.
Yeah, and so I don't know if you had any in there you wanted to add for yours, but let's just say mine aren't doing great.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I made predictions on my website, but they were like for the upcoming decade, so I got plenty of time for that.
Nice.
I got plenty of time for my 3 or 4 gaming predictions to come true.
And also, if any of our listeners, if you've made it this far and you're still listening, if you have any ideas for topics or one-off episodes that we could do deep dives of, if we are able to, we will. Meaning, if we actually have enough knowledge without spending hours and hours and hours of research. Because, as you all know, this is not the podcast of research. This is a podcast of 2 guys on the internet talking about old games.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've like job and kids and stuff, it can be a little difficult.
A little rough, yeah. Well, cool. This is kind of a shorter one, but our last 2 were really long, so I guess that's okay, right?
Yeah. So thanks for listening.